Hello friends, wishing you a very happy new year. And now we are going to start with a very important and interesting topic which is called process costing. So the process costing which I am going to cover in this topic is I am going to explain the equivalent production. So the equivalent production is going to be explained by me, and this I am going to cover by the Fifo method. There is one more method which is called weighted average method, which I will be covering in the next part of this lecture. Now friends, one thing I have to tell you all is that the normal process account is something which is I am not going to cover, so there will be no video for it. I am going to cover equivalent production, since normal process everybody has done in the BCom and it is not that important also. So now we are going to start with equivalent production. Now two things you need to remember is, whenever there is a normal loss, the normal loss is, friends, multiplied by the scrap value. And friends, whenever there is an abnormal loss, this abnormal loss is multiplied by the cost per unit. So these two things you need to remember. The other important thing in this part is, you are going to have opening work in progress. For example, you are going to have an opening work in progress of maybe 4,000 units. So 4,000 units would be the opening work in progress, and the entire cost of this opening work in progress I can assume is maybe 70,000 rupees. So the entire cost which I can assume is 70,000 rupees, friends. Now what do you mean by opening work in progress? Opening work in progress means that this is having few materials, then it is having labor worked upon it, and there are certain overheads which are absorbed. It means that this is a work in progress. It means it is not completed 100%. Maybe the materials here are 80%, the labor has worked for 60%, and the overheads are absorbed for 50%. So friends, the opening work in progress will denote that materials consumed is 80%, the labor which has worked on these units is 60%, and the overheads which are absorbed is 50%, and the total cost of all these three is together 70,000. So this is a part which is called opening work in progress, and you can also name it as semi-finished goods. So it is also called semi-finished goods. Now friends, you can understand what is going to happen now. I'm just preparing a process account, and this process account is only prepared for the quantity, so I'm not taking into account any rupees. You have an opening work in progress, for example 4,000 units. So these are units, and this is also units. So you're having an opening work in progress of 4,000 units. You have introduced certain raw material. So maybe you have introduced 50,000 units of raw material. Then friends, you are going to have some normal loss. I may assume the normal loss may be 5,000 units. It might happen that you will have some abnormal loss. So abnormal loss I can assume maybe 3,000 units. And friends, you are going to have certain closing work in progress. So this is the work which is not done. It might be maybe say 10,000 units. And finally you have, friends, the finished goods. which are completely ready, and this I can take it as a balancing figure. So I have 50,000, I have 50,000 plus 4,000, so I have total 54,000 as input, and out of this 5,000 is the normal loss, 3,000 is the abnormal loss, and 10,000 units are still not ready. In other words, I can say that it is 36,000 of finished goods which is ready. Now friends, I'm going to a very crucial part. Please understand it. Friends, I'm highlighting something. So what I need to tell is this normal loss, this closing work in progress, and this finished goods. These three items which I have highlighted over here are very crucial. And friends, you are going to prepare a statement of equivalent production comprising of only these three things, friends. You have to take into account abnormal loss, you have to take into account the closing work in progress, and you have to take into account finished goods. Now be careful. The finished goods part will be divided into two components. The first component which I'm highlighting for you all is this part, friends, this part. You will understand everything. It's a tricky chapter. You have to be patient enough to listen. So the finished goods is divided into two components. The first component is the opening work in progress, on which I have done the work and have completed it into the finished goods. And the second part is the current input, and this input has been worked upon and converted into finished goods. So now friends, have a look on what I mean to say is, I need to highlight with different colors. We have a finished goods of 36,000 units. So what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to write 36,000 units. Now friends, you can understand that your opening stock is 4,000 units, and these units now you will convert into finished goods. So the finished goods, the opening stock is converted into finished goods, which is equal to 4,000 units. So out of 36,000 units, 4,000 units are of opening work in progress, which is converted into finished goods. So the remaining part, my friends, it is 32,000, and this 32,000 is the current input which you have converted into finished goods. It means this 50,000 is your current input, and this current input you have converted into finished goods, which is 32,000. And this is what I'm explaining is FIFO. So yes, it is a difficult topic, but I will try to make it as simpler as I can. So now we are recollecting something, and then we are going forward. So in process costing, we are going to prepare an equivalent production statement, and right now I'm going to explain you the FIFO method. Friends, the normal loss is always multiplied by the scrap value, and the abnormal loss is always multiplied by the cost per unit. Then friends, the opening work in progress is maybe having 4,000 units, and the total cost incurred up till now is 70,000 rupees. Opening work in progress can also be termed as semi-finished goods. Now this opening work in progress is divided into materials, labor, and overheads. It means 80% of the materials have been consumed, 60% of the labor has already worked, and 50% of the overheads have been absorbed by these particular units. Then we are going further, friends. I've prepared a process account. And of quantity. So you'll have opening work in progress quantity 4,000 units, maybe you have introduced raw material which is 50,000 units. You will have normal loss, you'll have abnormal loss, you'll have closing work in progress, and you will have finished goods which are ready to be sold or ready to go to the next process. Now friends, these three parts, which is the abnormal loss, the closing work in progress, and the finished goods, these three parts, we are going to prepare a statement of equivalent production. So the statement of equivalent production will have three components. One is the normal loss, the other is the closing work in progress, and the third part is the finished goods. Now finished goods, you need to remember that finished goods will be composed of two parts. One is the opening work in progress, which will be converted into finished goods, and which you are aware that it is 4,000 units, and this is the current input which is converted into finished goods. So out of 36,000, 4,000 units belong to the opening work in progress, which is converted into finished goods, and the remaining 32,000 units shall be the current input which is converted into finished goods. So I've given some rough idea of what we are going to prepare, and I think I have to start with the sum. So we are going with the sum. This is the university sum which I have picked it up. So let's read it. The following data relates to process M. The opening work in progress is 6,500 units. The degree of completion is material, labor, overheads 100%, 60-60, and the total cost of the opening work in progress, my friends, is 70,000. Received during the month of April 16 from process L is 60,000 units at a cost of 2,60,000. It means this is the raw material introduced. Then expenses incurred in process M during the month are materials, labor, and overheads. Then we have closing work in progress, which is 4,500 units. Then we have materials 100%, we have labor and overheads 50%. Then we have unit scrap, which is 5,500 units. The degree of completion is material 100%, labor and overheads are 80%. Then we have normal loss of 5% of the current input. We have spoiled goods realized at 1.50. Then we have completed 56,500 units. Completed units are 56,500 transferred to warehouse. We need to prepare equivalent unit statement of cost per equivalent unit, process M, and use Fifo method. So yes, this sum is quite comprehensive. So I'm going to start with the sum. So I will be taking a new page. Okay, don't be in a hurry. We will do the sum properly, you will understand it properly. Don't be in a hurry. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the actual output. So my working note 1 will be calculation of actual output. Now friends, no need to worry about anything. Now we are concentrating on output, so my target is only to look at quantities. So now we are reading the sum. We have an opening work in progress of 6,500 units. Okay, so we have an opening work in progress of 6,500 units. So done. Then we have received during the month from process L 60,000 units. Okay, so this is the raw material which is introduced from the previous process, and this raw material which is introduced is 60,000 units. So 60,000 units of raw material is introduced. Then friends, we have closing work in progress, which is 4,500 units. Okay, so we are going to subtract the closing work in progress, and I have forgotten how much it is. 4,500 units. So this is 500 units. Then we have units scrapped, which is 5500. So this is a loss. So we have scrap units. This is nothing but a loss, and these units are 500 units. So 500 units I need to subtract. And then friends, we have a normal loss of 5%, which is included in these scrap units, so we don't need to calculate right now. Then we have a completed units 56,500, and this is our actual output. So we have actual output given to us. Actual output is given to us. It is given to us, which is how much? 56,500 units. I'm not aware whether this is the actual output or not. We are going to do the calculations, and if the answer is coming 56,500, then it would be the actual output. Otherwise I will change it. 6,500 plus 60,000 minus 4,500 minus 5,500, and it is 56,500. Yes, 56,500. So yes, this time the question is right. So we have an actual output of 56,500 units. So friends, the reason is that you need to calculate the actual output. In this problem, the actual output was given to you, but in other sums they might not give you. So it's better to do this working. Now I'm going to the working note 2, and now we are moving to our working note 2. Now friends, the scrap units which they have given us is comprising of normal loss and abnormal loss. So the scrap units are made up of normal loss and abnormal loss. So we are reading the question, and the units scrapped is 5,500 units. Okay, so 5,500 units are scrapped. Now these scrap units are going to be divided into two parts. The first part will be taken as the normal loss, and the second part will be taken as the abnormal loss. So now they have given us the normal loss as 5% of the current input. Okay, so normal loss is 5% of your current input. So 5% means 5 on 100, and your current input is the raw material introduced, which is 60,000 units. This is your current input, and in the question you have this received during the month of April 16, that is 60,000 units. This is your current input. So 60,000 is the current input, 60,000 units. So what I'm going to get, my friends, is 3,000 units. This is the normal loss, and the balancing figure will be taken as abnormal loss. So out of 500 units, 3,000 units are normal loss. So 2,500 units, my friends, is abnormal loss. So yes, the second working note is also done. Now I need to look the question. I don't think now I don't need to find anything. I think so. Yes, so we are done with it. Now we are going to our step or working note number 3. Actually this is not a working note, this is the main solution. So I'm going to prepare it. I'm going to prepare, friends, the process, and this is which process? Process M. Okay, I'm going to prepare a process M account. So I've taken lots of space here. This is particulars, then we have quantity, and then we have amount, then this is particulars, and then we have quantity, and then we have amount. Okay, So now we are going to prepare our main account, which is the process account. So let us start. We have an opening work in progress of 500 units. Okay, so we have an opening work in progress of 500 units. And friends, how much is the amount? The total cost is 70,000. Okay, so the total cost is 70,000 rupees. Done. Then there is a raw material received, so it is an input for this process. So received during the month from the previous process L, 60,000 units we have received, and the cost is 2,60,000. Okay, so this is the raw material which is introduced, and how much it is I've forgotten. 60,000 units and 2,60,000. Okay, 60,000 units and the amount is 2,60,000. So we are done with it. Then friends, there are expenses incurred in process M, material, labor and overheads, and these are in rupees, so no problem. So there is another material, and this material is how much? 1,18,500. Okay, 1,18,500. There is no quantity, it means it is an indirect material. Then labor, it's 2,10,000. Okay, so labor, it's 2,10,000 rupees. And then what we have? Then friends, we have overheads of 1,08,000. Okay, then we have overheads of 1,08,000. Wonderful. Then friends, we have a closing work in progress of 4,500 units. No problem. So here I can write by closing work in progress, and it is 4,500 units. Okay, we don't know the amount, so we are going to find it. No issues. Units scrapped, friends, units scrapped, I have done the working note. So the unit scrap, which is 5,500, is divided into normal loss and abnormal loss. So I'm going to write the two. So here I'm going to write the normal loss, and this have to multiply by the scrap value, and then here I'm going to write by abnormal loss, and this have to multiply it by the cost. I'm not aware of the cost. How much is the normal loss? 3,000 units and 2,500 units. Okay, so 3,000 units here and 2,500 units here. Okay, now how much is the scrap value? The spoiled goods realized 1.50 on the sale, so the scrap value is 1.50. So I'm going to multiply 3,000 units by 1.50. So 3,000 into 1.50 is going to give me 4,500 rupees. So 4,500 is there. Okay, then we have completed units, which is 56,500, which is our actual output. So by finished goods, so I'm writing in full, by finished goods. Okay, this is valued at cost. Work in progress is also valued at cost, and finished goods is how much? 56,500 is the actual output. Okay, so 56,500 is the actual output. So friends, I have done the process M account. Now you can understand that you are stuck up. So where are you stuck up? You are stuck up here. You don't know the abnormal loss, the cost of the abnormal loss. you don't know the closing work in progress, you don't know the finished goods. If these three things you are not knowing, means you have to prepare a statement of equivalent production. So friends, the crucial part is beginning. We are going to prepare a statement of equivalent production. Now it is this statement which will help us. We have to know what are the things which is requiring. It is having raw material, it is having another material, it is having labor, it is having overheads. So there are two materials, labor and overheads. Okay, so one I will name it as material 1, then the other one I'm going to name as material 2, then we have some labor, and then we have overheads, friends. It's better to name here also. So we are going to take it as material 1, and this we are going to take it as material 2. And friends, here you need to write percentage in units. Here you need to write percentage in units. Here you need to write percentage units, and then again percentage and units. Now what we are going to do, we are going to do a difficult part now, but I will make it simpler. Particulars. Okay, now friends, I have already told you, first we are going to write abnormal loss because we need to find it. So I'm writing abnormal loss, and the units are 500 units. So yes, the first item which I'm going to write is abnormal loss, and it is having 500 units. Okay, now one thing you need to remember is that abnormal loss means the cost incurred till date, my friends, till date. So whatever cost you have incurred till date is what is going to come in this statement. So now I'm reading the question. You know that abnormal loss is a part of scrap units. So what they have said is that this abnormal loss is going to have materials full 100%. Okay, so the cost incurred is 100% for material 1. So 100% of 500 units will be 500 units only, and the cost incurred for material 2 is also 100%. So the units would be 500, 100%, that is 500 units. So the abnormal loss has taken into consideration, has taken as absorbed both materials. So the cost will include both materials. So material 1 is 100%, material 2 is also 100%, friends. Now what we are now going to do is labor and overheads, the work is done up to 80%. Okay, in other words, 80% of the work is done on labor and 80% of the work is done on overheads. So 500 into 80% you have to do. So I'm doing it. 500 into 80% is 2000 units, and here also it would be 2000 units. It's very simple. Then friends, we are going to take into account the closing work in progress, which is 500 units. So the second thing is the closing work in progress, which is 500 units. So 500 units is the closing work in progress, and in this also you need to remember the cost incurred till date. till date will be taken. So in closing work in progress, they have said that the materials 100%. So 100% materials have been incurred. The cost has been incurred for 100% of material. So 100% is the material 1, and 4500 100% will be 4500. The material 2 is also 100%, friends. So 4500 will be coming here also. And then let's see. And the labor and overheads are 50%. Okay. So labor has worked 50% and overheads also they have worked 50%. So what we are going to do is 4500 50% I think is 2250 units and 2250 units. Okay friends, remember it is equivalent. Equivalent means it is proportionate to the work done. So we are doing the same thing what the statement is telling us to do. Prepare a statement of equivalent production means prepare a statement which is proportionate to the work done, to the work completed. And this is what are we going to prepare. Now I need to look. Now what we are ready with. We have done abnormal loss. Okay. We have done closing work in progress. Yes. We have to do now finished goods. Now friends, very important part. The third part which we are going to do is finished goods. Now it's very important to look at the starting of the lecture. I've told you all that the opening work in progress will be converted into finished goods. And how much is the opening work in progress, friends? Opening for work in progress is 6500 units. So these 6500 units are going to be converted into finished goods. So here we are having 6500 units, my friends. And here what you have to take is cost required. Remember the words required to complete into finished goods. This is where people are making mistakes and they are going by the standard textbooks. I want you to prepare the format in this manner. So the opening work in progress will be converted into finished goods, and the opening work in progress is having 6500 units. And what we are going to do is cost required to complete into finished goods. So how much cost is required? Friends, the opening work in progress is having materials 100%. It means there is no need to incur any cost on materials, my friends. So what we are going to do is there will be no material cost, neither material 1, neither material 2. Now the labor has worked for 60%. Okay. So in order to make it 100%, how much more labor do I need? I need 40% of more labor, my friend. So the labor is going to work 40% in order to complete into finished goods. So what I'm going to do is 6500 I'm going to multiply by 40%. 6500 into 40% is 2600, my friends. Now the overheads have 60%, so more 40% overheads are need to be absorbed to make it into a finished goods. Okay, so more 40% overheads will be absorbed to make into finished goods. So 6500 into 40% is going to give you 2600 units. Now the second part of this finished goods is the current input, my friends, is converted into finished goods. And you should know how much is the total quantity of finished goods. You are aware of it. You are aware that the total quantity of finished goods is 56,500 units. So here you are going to write 56,500 units. And out of this 6500 belongs to the opening work in progress, so the remaining units belong to the current input. 56,500 minus 6,500, so 50,000 units belong to the current input. Now friends, try to understand it properly, that this entire input is converted into finished goods. It means that 100% material, labor and overheads, everything 100% has been absorbed by these units. So in order to complete into finished goods, 100% of material 1 is used, which is 100% of 50,000, so it is 50,000 units. 100% of material 2 is used, which is again 50,000 units. 100% of labor is used, which is 50,000 into 100% is 50,000 units. And friends, 100% of overheads are used, which is again 50,000 units. Now we have done it. The sum is over, my friends. Now what I am going to do is I am going to get the total units. So I'm highlighting for you all. Okay, this is the highlighter. Okay, so this and this I'm going to add, this and this I'm going to add, this and all these things which I am shading I'm going to add. So I will get the number of units. 2,500 plus 4,500 plus 50,000 is 57,000. Okay, 2,500 plus 4,500 plus 50,000 is 57,000 units. Okay, 2,000 plus 2,250 plus 2,600 plus 50,000 is 56,850. Yes, 2,000 plus 2,250 plus 2,600 plus 50,000 is 56,850. Friends, these are E units and these are termed as equivalent units. Now we have to get the cost. So how much is the material 1 cost, my friends? The material 1 is costing 2,60,000 rupees. Okay, so material 1 is costing 2,60,000 rupees. This is an amount. And then material 2 is costing how much? Material 2 is costing 118,500. Okay, so 118,500. Then friends, the labor is costing 2,10,000. Okay, so labor is costing 2,10,000. And then we have overheads, which is 1,08,000. So we have overheads 1,08,000. Okay, now friends, one thing you need to remember is that you need to subtract the normal loss. So normal loss, you need to subtract it. Now you can subtract it either from material 1 or either from material 2. It doesn't matter. So I'm subtracting it from material 1 since it is having units, and the normal loss is also having units. So I'm subtracting the normal loss, which is 4,500, from material 1. So from material 1 I have to subtract normal loss of 4,500. Now the question would be in your mind that why we need to subtract the normal loss. Friends, we need to subtract the normal loss since when we were preparing the statement of equivalent production, we have not considered the normal loss units. So if you look carefully, there is no normal loss units which I have taken into account. So that's why you have to, if you have not taken the units, then you need to subtract the cost also. So normal loss needs to be subtracted. So what is this is, we are going to do 2,60,000 minus 4,500. 2,60,000 minus 4,500. So it is going to give me 255,500. This is same thing, 118,500. Then we have 2,10,000, and then we have 1,08,000. Now we have the actual cost. We know the units. We know the equivalent units. So I'm just putting a tick. 57,000 is the equivalent unit. Here also 57,000 is the equivalent unit. Here it is 56,850. And here friends, again it is 56,850. Then friends, I am going to get the equivalent cost per unit, and it's very simple. You need to divide. 2,55,500 is for 57,000 units. So how much is per unit cost? And let us divide it. So it's a big sum. 255,500 we need to divide by 57,000 units. 4.482. Kindly round off to 3 decimal points, because if you don't round off to 3 decimal points, you are going to get a 50 or 100 rupees difference in your process account. So it's better to take it 3 decimal points. 118,500 I am going to divide by 57,000. So 2.079. 2,10,000 I am going to divide by 56,850. So I'm going to get 3.694. Okay. 1,08,000 I'm going to divide by 56,850. So I'm going to get 1.900, or 1.9 you can say. This is the equivalent cost. Now we are on the last part of the sum, friends. Hardly it will take 5 minutes. So what I need to find is, I need to find the normal loss. I need to find the cost of the abnormal loss. So I'm going to find it. So I'm going to find the cost of abnormal loss, and for this I need to refer the statement of equivalent production, my friends. So I'm going to find the cost of the abnormal loss. So I'm going to the equivalent production statement. Yes, we have the statement ready with us. So I'm going to circle something. 2,500 units of material 1, 2,500 units of material 2, 2,000 units of labor, and 2,000 units of overhead. This is the consumption, my friends, of abnormal loss. You don't need to take these units. You need to divide into the equivalent production. Otherwise, what was the need to prepare the statement? So we are going to material 1, 2, labor and overheads. I'm going to write all the 4. So there is material 1, then there is material 2, and then there is labor, and friends, then there is overheads, and then we need to multiply with the units. So material 1, how many units are there? 2,500, 2,500, 2,000 and 2,000. Okay. So 2,500 units, then again 2,500 units, then we have 2,000 units, and I think here also it is 2,000 units. Okay friends, this we have to multiply by the equivalent cost. So material 1 equivalent cost is 4.482, material 2 is 2.079, and labor is 3.694, and this is 1.900. You can take it, or 1.9, both are same. So I'm going to multiply it, and I'm going to round off to 3 decimal places. 2500 into 4.482 is going to give me 11205. 2500 into 2.079 is going to give me 5198. I'm taking. Then 2000 into 3.694 is going to give me 7388. Okay, 2000 into 1.9 is going to give me 3800. So I'm done with this. I will write the cost here. I'm going to add all this. So 11205 plus 5198 plus 7388 plus 3800. What I'm getting is 27591. 27591. Okay, so I've rounded it off. I don't know, I'm using the calci which I'm rounding it off. 1 minute, wait. 2500 into 4.482 is going to give me this. Okay, 2500 into 2.079 5198. Yes, 2000 into 3.694 is going to give me, okay, 2000 into 1.9 is going to give me 3800. Yes, 11205 plus 5198 plus 7388 plus 3800 is going to give me 27591. Okay, so here I'm ready with the normal cost. I've forgotten what it is. It is 27591. Okay, 27591. Okay, now I'm moving forward to do closing work in progress. So I'm going to rub this part. So now we are going to do the closing work in progress. Just give me 1 minute because calci I have to round it off to 3 places. Okay, so now what we are doing is we are going to find the cost of closing work in progress, and again we have to refer to the statement of equivalent production. So how much cost is involved, let us see. So again I need to highlight it. 4500 units of material 1, 4500 units of material 2, labor is 2250 and 2250. So these are the units which are consumed. So first let me write it. Material 1, then we have material 2, then we have labor, then we have overheads. So how much is material 1? 4500, 4500. Okay, so material 1 is 4500, material 2 is 4500, then labor it is 2250, 2250. So labor it is 2250, 2250. Then I'm going to multiply with the cost per unit, which is 4.482, 2.079, 3.694 and 1.900. So let us multiply now. This is the bracket. Okay, I'm quite exhausted since it is a long sum. 4500 into 4.482 is 20169. 4500 into 2.079, it is 9356 I'm taking. Then 2250 into 3.694 is going to give me 8312 I'm taking, and 2250 into 1.9 is going to give me 4275, and then I'm going to get the total. So it is 20169 plus 9356 plus 8312 plus 4275. It is 42112. Okay, so I'm going to write here 42112. Now let us do this part so that I can explain you all properly. This is 66,500 units, and this will also be 66,500, but let me check. 3,000 plus 2 500, 4 500 and 56,500, so this will also be 66,500. I'm going to get the total of this. 70,000 plus 2 lakh 60, 118,500, 2 lakh 10 and 1 lakh 8,000. So this is 766,500. This should be 766,500. So I'm subtracting all these three. So minus 4,500, 27591 minus 42112. So my answer should come 692,297 as a balancing figure. Now we have to check whether the answer is coming this. Friends, you cannot take a shortcut for finished goods. You have to prepare it. So now I'm doing the last part of finished goods. Sorry. Sorry for the disturbance. So I'm going to do the next part. So we are on the last part. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we need to find the cost of the finished goods. And okay, so we need to find the cost of the finished goods. So we are going to prepare the cost of finished goods, and we have to refer the statement. We have to refer the statement of equivalent production. Now what has happened, friends? The opening work in progress is converted into finished goods. So this much money we have spent. So how much money we have spent for this we need to do. In opening work in progress, friends, labor was spent and overheads was spent. Only these two things were spent to convert into finished goods. So we have labor and overheads. So your labor was spent and overheads was spent. I think it is 2600 units of labor and 2600 units of overheads. And what is the equivalent cost is 3.694 and 1.90. So I'm going to get the cost. So it is 2600 into 3.694 is going to give me 9604. Okay, 2600 into 1.90 is going to give me 4940. Then cost already incurred. So cost already incurred, that is the opening work in progress. So I'm giving you a breakup, friends. In this, the remaining portion was completed, and this was already completed. It was already completed by the previous process. So this cost has already been incurred, which is the opening work in progress. How much cost has been already incurred? We can come from here. 70,000 rupees of cost has already been incurred. So 70,000 rupees we have to include it because the opening work in progress is converted into finished goods. So the total cost of the finished goods needs to be taken into consideration. So we have to include 70,000 rupees, that is the cost which we have already incurred. Now this all will together make the opening work in progress convert into finished goods. this is the cost already incurred, and this is the cost which I have incurred in addition in order to make this opening work in progress into finished goods. This is very important part, my friends. Now we have the current input of finished goods. So 50,000 units are all, that is material 1, 2, labor and overheads. Everything is having 50,000 units. So we are smart enough to do it. So instead of breaking it up, can I write finished goods, which is a part of your current input, is consisting of, I think, 50,000 units, and since they are completed 100%, so what I can take it, I can take the entire cost together. So see friends, 50,000 units, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. Why to break it up? Now take 50,000 as common, since everything is having 50,000, and we know the equivalent cost per unit, so we need to add this. So it will save our time. So material 1, the equivalent cost is 4.482, plus material 2, the equivalent cost is 2.079. I can rub this, more space is there. Then we have labor, which is having an equivalent cost of 3.694, and then we have overheads, which is having an equivalent cost of 1.90. So what I'm going to do is this 50,000 units, then I'm going to add, then I'm going to add this all. So 4.482 plus 2.079 plus 3.694 plus 1.90 is going to give me 12.155. So I'm going to multiply 50,000 into 12.155 is going to give me 67,750. Now we have completed the entire thing, friends. Now I'm highlighting something. So what we are going to do is, highlighting this. Okay, so this part, this part, this part and this part I'm going to add. So I'm going to add this part, and this is going to give me the cost of the finished goods. So 9604 plus 4940 plus 70,000 plus 607750 is going to give me 692 and then 294. So how much it should be there? Okay, so what we are getting is, friends, 294. If you can observe it properly, the answer is right, friends. We have 692, we have 692, we have 2, which is 97, and this is 94. So there is a difference of how many? 97 minus 94. There is a difference of 3 rupees, my friends. So what I am going to do is, this 3 rupees is because of the rounding of the difference. So I can write this the same thing, 692,297, and you know that there is a difference of 3 rupees. This is our actual calculation, and this is what we should have got it. So you can give examiner a note that the difference of rupees 3 is due to rounding off, Therefore your finished goods is 692,294 plus 3, that is 692,297. Thank you, friends. Wishing you a happy new year.